My name is Raymond. I'm 71 years old, and I've spent most of my life being useful, not flashy, not loud, but steady. Army mechanic for 22 years, then ran a small engine repair shop until my knees started clicking louder than my tools. I remarried at 65 after 6 years alone. Thought I found peace. Turns out, peace had a spoiled 34-year-old daughter named Tessa who came with it. Tessa moved in 2 years ago temporarily. That's what her mother called it, just until she got back on her feet. But her heels stayed parked on my furniture while her tone sharpened each month. One day, while I was stacking firewood out back, I heard her through the kitchen window. Just let the old man sit quietly and stay out of the way. Before we go deeper, comment, and subscribe if you know what it's like to be pushed aside in your own home. Shout out to Ronnie from Phoenix, who said last week's revenge story reminded him of his own. Drop your name and city in the comments for a shout out in the next one. She laughed after she said it. Her mother chuckled too. That quiet kind of laugh women share when they think you're out of earshot or no longer worth being considered. I didn't say anything. Didn't storm in, didn't yell. I just finished stacking the wood, washed my hands, and poured a bourbon like it was any other Tuesday. But something in me shifted. I didn't survive 2 tours overseas and 30 years of busted knuckles to be reduced to background noise in my own damn house. Especially not my house. Tessa thought quiet meant powerless. But what she didn't know is, while she was playing house, I still held the deed and a lawyer's number saved under R. Miller Real Estate. That night, I made 2 phone calls. By the time she realized what I was doing, I'd already started the paperwork. Tessa had no idea how close she was to the edge. She paraded through the house like she owned it, complaining about the outdated flooring, redecorating rooms she didn't pay for, telling her friends over wine that she was bringing some class to the place. Meanwhile, I couldn't sit in my own den without hearing some remark about grandpa energy. Funny thing is, I never once asked her to leave. I just let her keep digging. First thing I did was meet with Rob Miller, my old real estate lawyer. We sat in his downtown office while he looked over the title deed. You're the sole owner, Ray. You bought the house before your second marriage. Never added her name. No quitclaim. No refinance under joint status. It's all yours. I nodded. That's what I needed to confirm. From there, I had Rob draw up a formal notice of revocation. Legalese for you're not entitled to live here anymore. It would sit in my drawer, dated and ready. Tessa and her mother had no clue. But I wasn't done. I changed the locks on the storage shed and took inventory of every tool, heirloom, and document I cared about. I moved my valuables, Army discharge papers, Evelyn's wedding ring from my first marriage, even my father's old watch, into a private safety deposit box at the bank. I spoke to my financial advisor and placed a temporary freeze on joint household accounts. Told him I was preparing for a shift in living arrangements. Then I did something bold. I booked a week-long fishing trip to Montana. Left them the house for 7 days. No warning. No note. Just a quiet exit. I wanted them to feel the full illusion, like the house was theirs, like I'd faded away into old man silence. Because when I came back, the illusion would snap, and they'd realize they were guests in a place they treated like a stage. When I returned from Montana, the driveway was full. Her SUV, her mother's sedan, and some convertible I didn't recognize. I stood there a minute, duffel in hand, listening through the cracked window. Laughter, music, glasses clinking. Tessa was throwing a dinner party. In my house. I walked in through the side door, quiet as a whisper. The living room was rearranged. My recliner had been moved, replaced with some shiny white accent chair that looked like it had never known a real man's back. Raymond, Tessa said when she spotted me. Her tone was sweet and sour, like she'd bitten into a rotten apple and still tried to sell it. Didn't expect you back so soon. I dropped the duffel, walked straight past her, and grabbed a folder from the drawer. I'm not here to argue, I said, just to deliver something. I handed her the envelope, the formal revocation, notarized, dated, signed. A legal notice stating that as sole property owner, I was rescinding any informal right of occupancy for both her and her mother. She blinked, scoffed. You can't just kick us out. We live here. You visit here, I corrected, and I've been gracious. But you've confused hospitality with ownership. This is still my home, and now I'm reclaiming it. Her guests started packing their things when they saw my face. Not angry, not cruel, just finished. Her mother tried to intervene. Ray, be reasonable. I turned to her. Calm, direct. You laugh when your daughter said I should stay out of the way. That was your choice. This is mine. The eviction process was clean. I gave him 30 days, the legal minimum under the state's residency laws. I even offered to cover 1 month's rent at an apartment downtown. That was more than they deserved. Tessa didn't look so elegant hauling boxes into a rented U-Haul. She didn't say goodbye, and I didn't chase closure. Because sometimes silence isn't awkward. It's earned. The day after they left, the silence was louder than I expected. No perfume trails in the hallway. No reality shows echoing through the walls. Just the gentle hum of the fridge and the creak of the house settling back into itself, like even the walls were relieved. I brewed a fresh pot of coffee and walked the room slowly. Everything felt lighter. My recliner was back in place. The clutter was gone. The air smelled like would polish again, not designer candles and arrogance. Word got around quick, as it does in small towns. At the hardware store, Dennis raised an eyebrow. Heard you clean house. I just smiled. Did a little spring cleaning. In the fall, the local librarian, who knew Evelyn from church, slipped me a note with my books. Peace is the real wealth, Ray. Proud of you. But the biggest ripple came from Daniel, my son from my first marriage. He called for the first time in 6 months. Dad, I saw what happened with Tessa. You okay? I'm better than I've been in years, I said. He paused. I always thought you were too soft to deal with people like her. I let her feel comfortable, not in charge, I said. Big difference. He asked to come by that weekend. Said he'd bring the grandkids. I hadn't heard him say that since before Tessa moved in. Turns out, removing one person made space for 5 more. I didn't gloat, didn't post about it. I just lived. I started planting again, turned the backyard into a proper garden, signed up to volunteer at the local mechanics co-op, even dusted off Evelyn's old photo albums. And slowly, something happened. I stopped replaying that moment, let the old man sit quietly, because I wasn't sitting anymore. I was living, fully, without being managed, muted, or made to feel like I was in life's waiting room. It's been a year since I took the house back. The garden's full now, tomatoes, peppers, herbs. Kids from the neighborhood swing by on bikes just to smell the basil and ask if they can help water. I let them. A few even started calling me Mr. Ray, like I was some friendly old mentor. I don't mind it. Daniel visits every other weekend with the grandkids. We grill, talk baseball, fix small engines in the shed. One Saturday, he looked around the yard and said, "This place feels like home again." That meant more than I let on. As for Tessa, word is she's bouncing between apartments. Try to start some online boutique with a name I can't remember and debt she apparently can't cover. She never reached out. I never expected her to. What I did do, quietly, carefully, was update my will. The house will go to Daniel, with one clause. It can never be co-owned with a non-spouse unless written consent is given post-retirement. My way of saying, this house holds history. It doesn't exist to be conquered by someone playing queen. The local paper did a piece last month on quiet leaders in the community. They asked about my past. I told them I'd served my time in war, in marriage, in patience, and now I was just protecting what peace I had left. They asked if I had any regrets. I said, only that I didn't do it sooner. Because when someone tells you to sit down and stay out of the way, what they're really saying is you no longer matter. And the most powerful thing you can do in return is not shout. It's to take back the room. If this story resonated, hit like, drop your name and city in the comments for a shout out in the next one, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for walking through this with me. Some battles don't need armor, just patience and paperwork.